Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Zakk Colburn. I'm the founder and CEO of the Personal Trainers Business Incubator. And what we do is we work with fitness coaches who are looking to start an online fitness coaching business and scale their business up to 20, 30, 40, even up to $50,000 per month. So if you guys are curious about our program and you want to learn how it works, go ahead and click the links in the description. It'll take you to our website and give you a full breakdown on how our program works. But today we are going to be doing a Q&A. I put up questions up on my Instagram at least once or twice a week, and I will take some of my favorite questions that I get that I find will be the most valuable for coaches who are just getting started. I'm going to answer them in a YouTube format. So this is what we're going to get to today. So if you guys want to subscribe so that way you get more value from these videos, go ahead and do so. If you guys want to ask me questions directly, you can message me on Instagram at ZAKKCOLBURN. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the first question. So the first question I get comes from our student Aditha. Should you keep your income from business in one bank account? So in the very beginning, when you are first starting your business, it is totally fine to have one bank account and your normal income bank account all jumbled up together because it's not that much to diversify. But as you grow and as your business starts to make more money, I definitely recommend keeping separate bank accounts for your income, for your work income, for your expenses, for your bills, all this kind of stuff. And I actually have a framework that I'm going to share with you. And if you guys want a full in-depth training on this, we did record a YouTube video talking about taxes for business owner. And in this video, we break down how you should set up your bank accounts, but I'm going to show you exactly how to do so right over here. So let's go ahead and pop over and show you what this is going to look like. Okay, sweet. So typically when you start your business, you'll get your business registered as an LLC. And as soon as you get your business registered as an LLC, you can then go into your bank and open up a business bank account, right? So your business bank account is where you are going to have all of your income coming in into this one place. So just make sure all of your payment processors are all dumping money into the one account. So if you're using Stripe, make sure it's dumping into Stripe. If you're using Square, make sure Square is dumping into the business bank account. If you're using Waves, then you can dump it into there as well. And that way you can have your business income separate from any other W-2 income that you might be getting or any other income of the side. Any income that you get from your business, you can just put it into this business bank account. That way, when it's time to do taxes at the end of the year, you can give over your bank statements and your CPA can clearly see the income that your business made and let you know what you're going to owe taxes on for that year. What I also recommend as well is having a personal bank account. So this is going to be for your own personal expenses. What this is going to allow you to do is separate your business expenses from your personal expenses. So let's say that you had one account, right? Everything is going into one account and you're spending money from that same account as well. Well, at the end of the year, it's going to be pretty tricky for you to have to look back and decide, okay, what was a personal expense? What was a business expense? You know, if you buy equipment for your business, but the next week you buy groceries, then you have to categorize, what was a business expense? What was a personal expense? Whereas if you keep your bank account separate and your business account, you buy camera equipment, and then from your personal account, you buy groceries, well, then those expenses are all already categorized and you don't have to sift through whether something was a business expense or a personal expense because you've already pre-diversified the spending before you even spent it. So it makes tracking and accounting so much easier. Now, typically what I recommend when it comes to any sort of business expenses like camera equipment, travel, dinners with clients, I typically recommend getting a business credit card. That way you're not draining the actual dollar amount in your business checking account, and you can just use your business checking account to pay off the business credit card at the end of the month. So let's say that you make $10,000 in 1 month in your business, and you have $1,000 in business expenses that month, just from, miscellaneous things that you spent business money on. Well, then put that $1,000 on your business credit card and then just pay it out of the business account at the end of the month. And I say the same thing with your personal expenses as well. Obviously, you need to pay yourself in order for you to, survive. So at the end of the month, what I typically recommend is just pay yourself enough money out of your business bank account and put it into your personal account to where you can survive for the month. That way you have a selected budget of like, hey, this is how much I'm going to expend personally. And that way you're not dipping into your business bank account too much and pulling funds out of the business. And then the same thing with the personal credit card. I typically like to use a personal credit card. This is for me just for emergencies. I know it's probably not as smart to be using debit over credit, especially when it comes to, even when it comes to personal credit. But for me, if I'm using debit debit, I'm a lot more conscious of it. And for me, having the top of mind of being like, okay, do I really want to spend, debit rather than just a credit card? I'll just spend money, I'll pay it off at the end of the month. Keep my personal credit card as for emergencies. I pay myself enough out of the business to where I can pay for all of my personal expenses on my debit card or my personal debit card. All of my money from the business goes into my business bank account, and then any sort of business expenses goes on a business credit card. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope that answered your question. All right, next question from Aditha. When starting a business, when should you quit your job? So this is a really great question because it depends on your risk tolerance and your risk adherence. I typically don't recommend going all in. I have seen people absolutely just crumble under the pressure of building a business when they have to build a business. And my honest opinion is that building a business is hard and it does take a long time. And so it's much better for you to have financial stability while working a 9 to 5 so you can have the income that you need to focus on building the business without any pressure. And so what I typically recommend is that you should be making at least half of what your income is from your 9 to 5 before you quit. Because my thought process behind it is, let's say that you're making $5,000 a month and in your business, you're making $2,500 a month, but your 9 to 5 is taking 40 hours a week and you're only able to invest 10 to 15 hours a week in your business. Well, then if you were to then flip-flop and quit the 9 to 5 and get 40 hours a week to be able to invest into your business, then at that point, you'd be able to make up the difference from $2,500 to $5,000 a month relatively quickly. And so with that, making at least half of your current income shows that you know how to make money in your business and that your business is in fact working. But the bottleneck is just the time that you're able to invest into the business. And so when you're able to quit your job, you can then invest more time in the business and make that money faster. But I still like to see some sort of proof of concept in your business before you actually quit. The other time that you should quit your job is when you have enough savings to be able to at least survive for 6 months if you weren't to sign any clients. And it would be best if you had both, right? If you had at least half of your income from your business or you're matching your income and you have savings saved up. So, when I quit my job bussing tables, I was making around $2,000 to $3,000 a month bussing tables, but I also had $10,000 saved up in cash. And so when I quit my job in my business, I was already making about $1,500 to $2,000 a month in my coaching business. And so I was able to reinvest a lot of time back into my business and make up the difference in my income, but I also had a safety net saved up. So my honest rule of thumb is that you should be making at least half of your income from your 9 to 5, working part-time in your business, and you should have a safety net of at least 6 months expenses before you make the jump. Now, some people are totally game and willing to be able to make the jump faster. That's totally fine. But as a rule of thumb, I like to be a little bit conservative, and that's typically what I like to see. Okay, my next question comes from follower I am DG03. This is actually a student of ours, David Guerrera. He says, best ways to manage multiple clients, time management, scheduling, etc. So the best thing that you can do is use a scheduling system called Calendly. And what Calendly allows you to do is it allows you to create your own schedule, and then you can send the schedule to your clients and they can choose what actually works best for them. So I'll actually walk you through the software here. So this just makes it easy for you to make yourself available and for your clients to choose when they would be available. So coaching call link, this is a pretty stock and standard one that I use with my clients. So you can see here, I have a calendar that it sets me up with 30-minute meetings. It also links my Zoom account. So when the meeting is scheduled, my Zoom location shows in the meeting. I'll show you guys in just a second. Event details, you can see my Zoom account is linked here. I don't put a description just because this is for internal clients. I just send them the link and they can book. This is with myself. Scheduling settings, you can see that I can choose my own schedule. So I say 1 to 4, I'm available to take calls. Tuesdays from 2 to 4, I'm available to take calls. Wednesdays from 1 to 2 and then 3 to 5. Thursdays from 1 to 5 and then Fridays from 1 to 5 as well, right? So I choose this, and then when my clients get this, they receive the link, they can choose which day they want to talk to me at, and they can choose what time they want to talk to me at as well. So this makes it super easy because I know when I'm available, and then they're able to pick any anytime that I'm available as well. And then when I go over to Google Calendar, when they schedule that link, it pops up like this. So the link is here. They're also invited to the meeting as well. So I don't need to invite them. I don't need to send them a Zoom link. They get notifications that the meeting is started at X time. And then all I have to do is at this scheduled time, I just click the link, pop up in Zoom. They're going to be there as well. And it makes managing my schedule, managing my client schedule super, super easy because we don't have to go back and forth. So I hope that answers your question, David. Okay, my next question comes from alumni student Ryan Phipps, and he asks, community building inside a fitness program. So the thing with community building is that you obviously need people in order for you to have a community. Anything less than 50 gets really tough to build a community. What I noticed for PTBI is that our community really didn't start popping off online until we had at least 100 members. And what I found is that once we had 100 members, there's really like 5 people who were posting the most. And so what you'll find with online communities is that the bigger you get, the more people that will be there to be able to answer questions. But majority of people in online communities are really just flies on the wall. They are consuming information that other members are posting. And there's really only a few key members in each community that are really, really asking a lot of questions, posting a lot of content. And so it's really important to find those people and keep them in and nurture them and really, really value them. Because as soon as they go, then the community essentially loses engagement. But my biggest tip for building community is obviously get more people in the community. And then 2, figure out who your top players are in the community and really, really nurture and reward them for doing a good job at posting, because they're pretty much the ones who are bringing in a ton of people. But community inside a fitness program is very much how I built the community in PTBI. You have to understand that in order for their community to thrive, there needs to be one-to-one connections between members and not between you, right? So if you have one-to-one connections with all of your team members or all of your students or all of your clients, but they're not connected with each other, then that's not really a strong community. And so what I always do to build a good community is, number 1, on every single group coaching call that we have, I make sure that everybody drops their Instagram handle. That way everybody can get connected. You know, I'm always very surprised when I see 2 of our PTBI students going live together when I'm like, well, I didn't even know, how'd you guys even get to know each other? And it's like, oh, you know, we met on a group call. So that's always really cool. The other thing too is host in-person meetups. You know, if you are going to a city, get your clients from that city together, host retreats, allow people to get connected with each other, and almost try to remove yourself from that interaction as well. You know, whenever I'm hosting PTBI events, obviously like I'm emceeing and I'm hosting and I'm making my rounds, but I'm really trying to kind of take a step back and watch everyone mingle with each other, because that's really where community is built, is where when people start meeting up with each other outside of you being the catalyst or you being the instigator. And this is something that worked really well in San Diego. We had so many students in San Diego that we would host meetups almost on a monthly basis. And then all of those people who lived in San Diego that would meet up all maintain their friendships. And then I would see them training together. I'd see them making content together. And it was really, really cool to see. So my best tips when it comes to building online community is, number 1, make sure you have enough people for a community to thrive in. Number 2, really pay attention and nurture the people who are contributing the most to your community. Number 3 is make sure you guys, or you're having them exchange their social media information like Instagram. And number 4 is host in-person meetups and really make sure that the focus on these in-person meetups for the community members to meet each other and maintain their relationships after the event is over. And I think for me, one of the most fulfilling things about PTBI is, you know, having students that graduated our program a year ago or 2 years ago, still hanging out with the students that they met inside the program 2 years later. So for me, that is what I consider a successful community. Okay, the next question I have is from Nueva Amor or Nueve Amor. They ask how to get ready to start while working on getting certified. So what I would say is that if you're currently working on getting certified right now, there's a couple things that you can do to get started. Number 1, you can join a program like PTBI, because what PTBI is going to teach you is how to set up your systems, how to create content, and how to sell. That way, when you're certified and you're actually ready to take clients, you are ready to hit the ground running, because in that process, there is a learning curve, right? It's not like you're going to come into the program and start signing clients on day 1. It's like, no, we need to really make sure that your systems are dialed in. We really need to make sure that your offer is ready to go. We really need to make sure that we have your content messaging down. And so there's a lot of work to be done before you're ready to start signing clients. Our students on average sign clients within day 30 to day 60. So within the first 2 months, but the first month is all about getting set up with your systems. And so if you wait until you're certified to then take that step, well, then you're prolonging the process even further. Whereas if you start taking those steps right now while you're getting certified, then when you get certified and the systems are ready, you're ready to start signing on clients day 1. The other thing that you can do as well, let's say that you don't want to join a program to get get help and you want to do this on your own, then I would start creating fitness content ASAP, right? Because it does not happen within one post that you start signing clients. It takes months. It takes repetitiveness. It takes, people need to see your content multiple times and really understand that you're taking on clients before they actually pull the trigger. And so if you're getting certified in 3 months and you wait to start posting in 3 months, you're already behind the ball, right? You should start posting as soon as possible. And the things that you should be posting are your story. You should be documenting your transformation. You should be documenting the fact that you're getting certified and you will be taking on clients. You should be educating. You should be storytelling. Like, you should be putting as much content out there as possible as if you are already in business. Again, so that way when you launch your offer as soon as you're certified, you're ready to go. People aren't, there's no lag effect, right? So the two options are this. Number one is you can wait until you get certified before you start doing anything. But since it takes time, once you start the business, it does take time to get things ramped up. You're prolonging the process even further. So like, let's say that you are getting certified in 3 months. Well, then you probably won't start making money in your business until 5-6 months from now. Whereas if you start building the business now with creating content, getting mentorship, building up the systems, getting everything set up, well, then as soon as you're certified in 3 months, you can start signing clients day one in 3 months. So that's my tips when it comes to tips on getting started while you are getting certified. It's like, you can join a mentorship program right now to learn how to set up your system so that way they're ready to go, or you can start creating content so that way you can start marketing your fitness offer before you're ready to take on clients. And the last question we have is from our student Christian Kiafi. How do you pitch your program to people that you meet in person? This is a really great question. So in PTBI, we have a 2-step call process. We have a discovery call and we have a sales call. I am a big believer in discovery calls and sales calls for my own reasons. That's, training in and of itself, but that's what we do. Typically, when I meet someone in person, I don't actually pitch anyone in person, right? So if we're going to go look at the process for PTBI, typically what you're going to do is you're going to create content, and that content is going to bring in warm traffic, either through inbounds, through DMs, or just general followers. And from there, you have conversations with your audience to build connections and see if you can help them, right? When you're having your DM conversation, essentially what you're doing is you're not pitching your services, but you're asking questions to learn more about their situation to see if you can help this person, right? And then once you learn that, hey, I can actually help this person wants to receive my help, then let me offer them a call so that way I can tell them a little bit more about what I do and see if it's a good fit. Now, if you are meeting someone in person, that in-person interaction is exactly the same as the DM interaction. It's not a sales call. You're not pitching. You're not talking about your offer. You're not talking about your program. You are simply asking them questions about what it is that they're looking for, what they want to achieve, what they're having struggles with. And when you learn that, hey, I can actually help this person and I believe that I can get them to their goal, then invite them to a call, right? Even if you're like at a coffee shop and you're talking to someone and you're saying, hey, I'm just kind of curious, are you working on any fitness goals? They say, yes, they are. Say, perfect. What are you having trouble with? Oh, I'm having trouble with nutrition. Hey, I'd love to see if I can help you out in any way. Would you be interested in hopping on like a quick 10-minute phone call and I can, learn a little bit more about you and point you in the right direction? What this does is it makes your sales process consistent. So that way you have a consistent process for your sales process. Because if you are going to try to sign people in person on the spot, you might get jumbled up. And so I always like to make sure that I can create my process and keep it as consistent as possible. So that way I don't get jumbled up. The other thing too is like, it also saves face from an awkward interaction. If you're in person at a barbecue and you start pitching your services to, a friend of a friend, and it just gets really freaking awkward, well, they're going to not invite you back to that barbecue. Whereas if you just ask them questions to figure out, hey, I'd love to see if I can help. Let's set up a call for next week. And that way we can enjoy this barbecue together. We don't have to get into the nitty gritty, but we also know that we're going to chat about your goals in the upcoming week. So that's my advice when it comes to pitching your services in person. Just treat it like a DM conversation and then schedule a call off the interaction. So guys, I hope you liked this video. I hope it was valuable for you. If you guys want more, please subscribe. Let me know what you think. Peace.